And I think we are live. Hello, agents. I'm your host for Behind the Scanner. Welcome to episode number 5 of our weekly Thursday night broadcast. Today is Thursday, May 22nd, 2014, and it's currently 9 p.m. ADT. And we've enabled the Q&A tool for this Hangout, and if you have any specific question for our guest, please submit it. And if you could do us a favor, tag the person question that you are directing your question, writing at person's name and at the start of the question, so we can know who are um, asking this question for. Our producer Andrew will be checking your submissions, and we will ask one or two questions live during each interview. As a reminder, for this week, we will giving away some passcodes to the people with the best submitted questions for each guest. Also, we have a Google form you can use to submit recommendation for guests to the show, and that link is bit.ly/BDS_guest. Well, and now I'm going to introduce my co-hosts for tonight. The first one is no stranger to the show. He lives near Washington, D.C., and he has a beard that rivals Chuck Norris. Please welcome Andrew Cook, a.k.a. Red Solo Cup or the Caveman.
Yes, thank you very much for the introduction. I am without power right now. Murphy's Law kicked in, and let me see if I can flip this camera around real quick. We're using candle power tonight and connecting to a wireless 4G hotspot with a bunch of. I'm an Ingress player, right? So I've got a bunch of external batteries, so we should be good. But you might have to do the Q&A tonight. But thank you for bringing me back.
Thank you, Andrew. And my second co-host for tonight is filling in for Daphne, who is self-sparkling on some red carpet movie premiere. This person is no strange to the Ingress world, and you know her as Niantic Baby Girl or Agent Kelly. Please welcome Kelly Colton.
Hi guys, thanks for having me this week. I'm very pleased to be stepping in, although I have pretty big shoes to fill. But yeah, this will be a lot of fun. And go Blackhawks! Unfortunately, we lost last night, but we did manage to have a good time at the bar, hacking at least 4 portals. When you could get a GPS lock, of course.
Well, then, Andrew, can you introduce our first guest, please?
Yep. Our first guest is known around the world as the Crazy Russian. To the Enlightened, he is simply that guy. He has an affinity for maps and cartography, which is pretty peculiar and interesting. Hopefully we'll get to know about that. So everybody, please welcome Vitaly Kabernik, a.k.a., I'm going to butcher this. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Is it Bisanek? Are you there, Vitaly?
You have to unmute yourself, Vitaly.
Don't forget to unmute yourself. There we go. Welcome.
Okay, good morning. Not morning for you, I think. I'm leaving tomorrow.
Future man. It is, thank you, by the way. It is 5 o'clock your time, I think, right?
5 o'clock a.m., yes.
Oh.
What was your question again?
How do you pronounce your agent name?
Well, it depends on tradition. You know, it's from Latin, and in Russia we pronounce it Vichy next, and in English, in many Roman languages, it is Vitaly.
Gotcha.
Well, okay, Vitaly, welcome to our 5th episode, and I want to start with something that I heard. There's a rumor that you are a former KGB agent or someone who knows people that can take care of situations. Can you set the record straight, please?
Well, you should, of course, understand that I can neither confirm nor deny this assumption, but no, I'm not KGB agent. Just because KGB doesn't exist for about a dozen years. I have some, say, military background. I was a graduate in rocket science in Russian kind of Institute of Technology, and I have had my practice with anti-ballistic defense. So that's it. No KGB, just some bloody military.
So, in addition to some of the things you mentioned, with your background, I personally know you as one of the enlightened cartographers, and I kind of wondered, did you get your unhealthy passion for geolocation data from your past job, and did you ever think it would come in handy when you're playing a game?
Well, actually both. I like maps. I have some background with digital mapping, and I know how to do that. And I like to draw them. I like looking at them. I have some kind of hobbies making them. So let's say both background and both Ingress.
Nice. Vitaly, I follow you a lot on G+, and we've talked in the past online and before Anomalies and all that. And I know that you're a Star Wars fan. So let's get personal for a moment. This is a very important question. If you had a lightsaber, what color would it be?
Well, paint it black and make it silent.
Wow. I think that's like the ultimate Sith lightsaber.
Might be. Just silent. At least silent. I don't like all this show, all this wow, bass. Why? Why should you emit some kind of sound? Make it covered.
Well, Vitaly, following the Meridian project, I learned that you also help produce a regular Russian language English podcast. How did you get started, and what made you want to devote more to the Ingress outside of the game?
Outside, Ingress is kind of single country game sometimes, just because many people around the world cannot actually can't know about what's happening, and so we just decided to make it more interesting and translate something to Russian so people can see what's happening, can read the story, can get somehow involved. That was the idea, and then we moved to some kind of another sound, making it more involved, and that was just fun. I liked working for Ingress Broadcast. It is still happening, and we're trying to maintain our schedule. Let's see what happens. No video right now, but sound is good. I can promise that.
Hey Vitaly, what's the name of your broadcast? Where can people actually find it at?
It's actually named Ingress Broadcast Russia, and you can find it in at SoundCloud. Just search for Ingress broadcast.
Okay.
You
so
can
go to soundcloud.com and search for Ingress broadcast.
Right.
Perfect. Hey, do we have any questions for the audience? Are you willing to take some of those? Vitaly?
Do we have something there, Kelly?
Yeah. Ryan asks, how does it feel to be an Elite 5 member? What does it mean to you, and did you enjoy that experience?
I have answered this question so many times. You know, it doesn't feel something special. It's more responsibility, I think. People have put some trust into you, and you should, you should work for this trust. Elite 5 or not, you have some obligations to all those people. Feel, experience. Well, visiting California was good. You know that, Kelly. We've met there.
It's a lot of fun when.
Yes.
I think you came up to me and you were like, "Oh, I need to meet Kelly Colton," and I'm like, "I'm Kelly Colton." So it was like a surreal, moment that you and I have talked online so often, but yet on the street, passing each other, wouldn't even have realized. So, did you meet a lot of other people in that same fashion?
Oh yes, that was good. That was good, and talking about Elite 5 is actually nothing special. I don't have some kind of special badge. While I am Elite 5, nothing. Just people are moving, people are asking, people are putting trust into you.
Do we have any other question, Kelly? Interesting question out there.
Yeah, we have a few viewers that are sort of interested in how the political situation in Russia is affecting gameplay, especially with the latest Anomaly series. Do you have any comments about that?
Well, if you turn off your TV and all the media buzz, you will have the situation just like normal. Nothing has changed. Political situation is a side of the game. We have different views in Russia, like you have different views in America, and well, somebody supports something, somebody don't. Doesn't matter. No extra security, nothing. You can just hear about politics from TV, nothing more. Never affected Ingress.
So, kind of going back to the lighter side of things, what part of Ingress do you derive the greatest enjoyment from?
What part? Can you be more specific with your question?
Yeah, some people really love following the story. Some people really love, being out until 3 a.m., hacking and, smashing farms. Some people love the cryptography. You love maps.
Yeah, I understand, Kelly. Actually, it's kind of Zen. It's kind of enlightenment. When you play Ingress for some time, you don't need your scanner. You don't need your, internet maybe even. You only need your communication tools. That's the weapon. not the scanner. And I'm running operations. I just need Hangouts or some kind of voice communication. That's the part I like. I'm driving the forces. I'm not actually participating in some large operation personally. Well, you can say that. I'm sitting in the middle of the web work and pulling strings. That's what I like.
Andrew, you are muted, Andrew. Oh, Andrew, go away. I think
Oh, we have
he's
lost
having
him.
some problem. But well, can you follow up that question, Kevin? Oh, he's.
Hey, the candlelight back on.
Wow, first they take away your power, now they're taking away your candlelight.
I know. Well, I've got to power my phone by candlelight. So Vitaly, can you talk a little about piano spatial distribution and using an irregular grid to reproject hexagonal objects on a cubic surface? No, you don't have to. So, as equally as important, you've been part of a ton of missions, whether supporting them from behind the scenes or on the ground yourself. Do you have one that is your most memorable?
Yes, I have one. It was the part of Jarvis Sharp's race. It was published as Cleopatra Night internationally, but actually we Russians are very bad inventing names. You know, we are like anything we can call it like 53.5 operation, like that. So it was just Alexandria Run. I remember it because it has all the part of action movie, in fact. Imagine that we have an assault team who was boarding the plane flying to Alexandria, and we have had an insertion team who was renting a yacht in northern Cyprus privately. It was Green Agent, just freshly initiated. He was eager to go from northern Cyprus to Turkey in the night, renting a yacht, and he went there, and the plane was delayed, and he was to stay there, not showing himself. And the next night, when assault team arrived to Alexandria, they had some recon on the place, and they have had some communication, and then 1, 2, 3 start. Okay, that Green Agent was shaking. He was just to eliminate one single blocker, but he was so excited. He paid for this yacht himself, and the assault team was running through the city, and I was monitoring them, talking to them like that. It was such a thrill just because they have had only 3 keys, and we have had to decide what keys to use for actual shard movement, and we have had some spare keys. Can we put some risk into that? And I was tracking them across the city and tracking opposite faction stepping on their toes. It was just 15 minutes, and when the run was actually executed, you have had to make decision in real time. It was like they are asking, well, should we throw the link now or not? Just one decision. You have several seconds to decide, and you say, okay, throw it now, move on, and they are moving on, and they have resistance on that source, and when it's almost over, the last message I see from them, we are captured by police. Well, okay, you are captured.
Oh, it looks like we're having some audio difficulties here.
I think Vitaly may be muted. There we go.
Do you hear me now?
Yep, we caught everything to the point where they were captured by the police.
Oh, okay. Just a routine ID check, but we cannot talk to them anymore, and we were really worried about them. Then it was still 15 minutes to the time window. Monitoring, waiting for response, and they come out again. They say, well, we're okay, no problems with police. And when this was over, I just stand up and I noticed my hands were shaking, just because the thrill of the whole operation, all the effort put into it, many people throughout the world are involved, and it was all compressed into 15 minutes with all those nerves, police, the run. I just needed some time to put me back into one piece. It was a movie, you know. It doesn't actually happen in real life, but we made it.
So everybody was safe and sound afterwards, huh?
Huh? Say again?
Everybody was safe afterwards.
Yes, everybody was safe, no problems. I said it was just a routine. I did check in Egypt, but actually resistance agent who was chasing them helped with the police afterwards. But you know, by that very minute, we didn't knew nothing. They couldn't use the scanner or understand us, explain us what's actually happening, because they were checked.
Well, I get the feeling that obviously you have been involved in a lot of operations, but I also have that weird feeling that you are part of all the Enlightened operations in the world, in some way at least. So, do you have any favorite operation from the Enlightened all around the world?
Well, actually, this isn't true. I'm definitely not involved into every operation in the world. Well, maybe anomalies, most of them. No. For favorite, let me see. I liked Aurora Borealis, which was a kind of exercise for coordinating different countries, different teams, and they were acting all in their own style. We were trying to establish some kind of synergy, you know, not the operation hardly driven from above. We had some freedom, so each country have had the plan, and we just wanted to look and see what will happen. Is it at all possible? So every country could coordinate themselves in cohesion with other countries. It was beautiful just looking at different styles, different countries execute these operations. Finnish were cowards. Estonians were fierce. They were frantic. Norway were disciplined, cold. Russians, Russians are crazy. So seeing the difference in the style in real time was actually quite enlightening. Well, your next question.
Yeah, so Vitaly, a fellow Enlightened, I'm kind of curious, why did you choose the Enlightened?
Why? Well, I was waiting for mine white for about a month, and I was reading many publications about Ingress. It was right in the beginning, and the choice was made before I have actually received mine white. Well, I like the concept. I like the concept of enlightenment just because it has flexibility, not like resistance. Resistance is it has just one point. We should resist any kind of non-proved, not yet proved incense from some kind of aligned mind, and enlightened are, well, they're free. They have their agenda. We just want to know more. We want to communicate those, well, media lines. They may be aggressive or maybe not. If they are aggressive, if they are trying to somehow influence us or whatever, we will have the choice to resist afterwards. But first we need to establish contact. That's what I like, and I like the logo.
Very eloquently said. So the last question we have for you is sort of a tradition. We ask all of our guests this. People look up to you. You're sort of a pillar in our community. Has the game taught you or showed you anything about yourself that maybe you didn't know about yourself? Something you learned?
Interesting question. Actually, not that much. I was kind of
you are in real life.
For some time, I was kind of fascinated about that. I have some kind of authority in the game. Why? Why people trust me? I'm just the guy who makes maps, who can run some kind of operations, but people start relying on you. That was different from the start of the game. I couldn't actually understand why. And when people are relying on you, you're trying to do your best to, doing your best for all those people. They never seen you. They just trust you. I don't know why. They are starting to think you are some kind of magician. No, that's not true. That was different. Another level of responsibility. I'm not so very social type of guy, and that was new. That was what I discovered. That people are trusting you, and you have more responsibility. It becomes some kind of job.
Great.
An
Vitaly,
unpaid job.
unpaid job, yeah.
No. They don't pay you.
Yeah, we know. uh, Vitaly, I want to thank you. It was a really good time to have you here. If you want if you have time, we know it's early there, but if you have time, you want to stick around to the panel discussion after the next interview?
Okay. I think I have some time. No problem.
Great. Thank you very much.
Oh, nothing.
Well, yes, she's no stranger to Ingress. She's got thousands of unique portals under her belt, and she's participated in almost every anomaly series. I know I've seen her out in California, and please welcome Ruth Shepherd, aka Rio 5.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So here's the big question. Who is Ruth Shepherd?
Like outside of Ingress? Well, I'm kind of a hippie. I guess that goes with the whole resist thing. I like doing stuff. I don't know. I like making things, crochet, soap making. I'm highly involved in my church. Love the resistance community here. We hang out a lot and just love people, basically.
Cool.
So.
So, Ruth, almost a year ago, you underwent brain surgery for superior canal, and I'm going to get this last word wrong, dehiscence?
Dehiscence.
Thank you. Can you talk a little bit about that? And I was surprised to learn by following you and talking to you that Ingress actually had a bit of a therapeutic effect on your condition. Is that correct?
Sure. Yeah. It wasn't really brain surgery so much as like skull surgery. I had an opening between my in my temporal lobe, in my skull, between my brain and my balance center, which was causing me to have chronic dizziness. So basically, I was always dizzy all the time. And I learned that through walking, if I walked with my head down and straight, I actually could kind of alleviate my symptoms and feel a lot better. So I started using Ingress as therapy, basically. Started walking several miles every night, and it really gave me something to grab onto, for relief. So it's pretty awesome.
And now you have like 16,000 unique portal visits, right?
6,500, something about like that. I'm pushing really hard for platinum, so.
Nice.
Wow.
Yep.
Ruth, Ingress is a social network in addition to many other things. You recently had to call upon that social aspect while you were driving to South Carolina for a little help. That's correct?
Yeah, it was a few weeks ago on my road trip up to Washington, D.C., and we did the Gettysburg build. We were going through South Carolina about 9 o'clock at night and blew out a tire. And not only did we blow out a tire, we ended up blowing out the donut too. So we had 2 flats in one night. And it was a really bad stretch of 95 with hardly any shoulder, and the grass on the side was, muddy, and so I couldn't get my car over far enough to actually change it. So I ended up having to call roadside assistance. But thankfully, the resistance was on it, and they summoned Adrian, aka Lab Thug, out of Charleston, and he jumped in the car like 2 minutes after. Apparently, he got a phone call, was like, Rio down, Rio down. So he jumped in the car and came out, and I said, we'll be fine. We have roadside assistance coming. They'll change the tire. We'll get on our way. And he just didn't take no for an answer, which ended up being a godsend because, as I said, the donut, he followed us to the service station, and the donut gave out about 2 minutes down the road, and we had nothing. So we were able to jump in the car, and he took us down to the nearest station, and so it was amazing, the kindness of fellow resistance agents while we were in trouble. So
that's a really cool story. It's
yeah.
neat to know that people are kind of all watching your back, and if something happens, people can be out there to help you. It's a cool story.
Yeah, it was kind of cool because a few people took it upon themselves to be our handlers, myself, and it's a small girl who was traveling with me. And so every time we'd cross a state line, they'd be like, "Okay, our shift is done. It's on to North Carolina now." Like, "Okay, North Carolina's shift is done. It's on to like Virginia now." So it was really fun.
So I have a just for fun question here. What's your favorite meal to have after a night of Ingress activity?
We go out for Tex-Mex a lot in the Resistance. So we happen to have a Tex-Mex place right across the street from our favorite level farm area, so we'll usually burn it out, eat, hit another area, come back, burn it out again. So yep.
It's one of the fun things, isn't it? Finding all the cool places to eat.
Yeah, we have a joke that we won't go to a place without a portal, so.
That's a good rule of thumb. So
It really
actually,
is.
something about me that people don't know is I'm actually from Wisconsin. And speaking of food, I know that you actually have made homemade cheese. How did it turn out? And how many times, like, what did you make? How many times have you tried that? That's fascinating to me.
I tried it a couple times. I was making homemade mozzarella. I don't really drink milk unless it's raw milk because, again, I'm a hippie. So, so I just was looking up things to do with raw milk and saw some fun mozzarella recipes. And so I got some like vegan rennet and I played with it a little bit and it turned out pretty good. Yep.
Well, Ruth, you once made a public post asking for song suggestions for music to listen while you were playing. So, what kind of music does Rio Fire listen while she's fire XMPs?
Anything from happy hardcore to patty punk. Gosh, and I hate to admit it, but Taylor Swift. I have a very wide music range. I used to be a radio DJ for a few years, so I have a lot of musical interests from each side of the spectrum.
Cool. Do we have some questions?
Yeah.
Or
yeah. So one of our viewers, Daniel, asks, I know you were heavily involved in Unite 8. Tell us a few of your favorite inside stories.
Oh gosh, favorite inside stories. Just the amazing lengths that people went to in different cities to have this event going. Like, we had our global story of what was going on, but each individual area and state had this amazing story of how they, participated, some of them in their first like really big, huge operation. We had, last minute blockers go up, and we had, people dropping everything and driving 3 hours to take it out. And one agent saw a bear when he was going to take out his portal. I swear we had like 3 people hit deer in the middle of the night. It was horrible.
Oh
including myself. So,
oh my gosh.
I know we had an armadillo go down in Texas.
I don't know. Wouldn't it be better to hit an armadillo than hit a deer?
Yeah, I think so. Better for the deer, maybe.
I guess
Armadillo doesn't really have a chance.
It also depends on if you're driving on your donut or not, I guess.
Oh.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So, viewer submitted question. Kelly asks us, in your opinion, what is harder, running intel for an anomaly or herding cats for an event?
Hi, Kelly. What is harder? I mean, herding cats is the most difficult thing ever. So I would say herding cats is probably the most difficult. But I mean, I love every aspect of it. My favorite part is probably just seeing communities come together and be organized and come out at the end better than they were before, whether they've won or lost the anomaly. It's pretty amazing.
Cool. Do you have a favorite anomaly to date?
Favorite to date? I don't know. I mean, every anomaly is such a unique experience. Of course, I loved Miami because it was, my home state. I would say recently, though, Auckland was pretty amazing. They have a really cool crew there, and they were operating under some difficult conditions with the gigafields, so they were pretty amazing. Nice fields, by the way.
Well, on behalf of the Enlightened, thank you.
Kelly, do you have a question for her, maybe?
Oh,
Did you want to ask besides the audience?
Well, I have a question. Okay, so we've kind of talked a little bit about our experiences traveling to different places. You've taken your wild road trips. Is there anywhere in the United States where you haven't played that you're really wanting to go visit?
Yes. Mostly just because of the people. Like, there's so many areas of people that I just want to visit and hang out with and have a few beers and maybe throw up a bath in the middle of the night. Um, I would say the Connecticut group is amazing, and I'd love to go visit them. Um, Stego and Volta and all those people up there would be great to meet. Also would love to see my BC Wires in Utah. They're pretty awesome. Um, the mega fielders there, pretty cool. So I guess as far as people groups, that would be my favorite place. I was speaking with Daphne earlier today about visiting New York City for unique portals. It's probably coming up very near in my future, so
Very cool.
yeah.
Watch out, New York Enlightened. You've been warned.
Oh, yes.
I'll come burster heavy.
Well, talking about missions and places that you've played, one aspect of playing Ingress, though, is also being able to adjust on the fly. Things can happen that you may not have even planned for. And one of those things that I've heard that happened was the shards were released right about the time that you guys wanted to kick off Unite 8.
Yeah.
Is that true? How did you guys sort of account for that?
Well, I found out literally a week before Unite that we were going to have shards, and that a shard was coming for Jacksonville, which at that point, trying to run a shard operation on top of finalizing everything for Unite was pretty much killing me. But there was a lot of panic that went up within the Unite community when shards were released, and we realized what it was going to mean for Unite, because all of a sudden we might have crazy obscene links passing through where we didn't have issues before, and we knew that we were going to have to allocate resources from Unite for the shards. But I think in the end, I think I was probably one of the more calmer voices, because I realized that we had all these amazing keys and multiples of these keys like already set up, and we had these routes and we had these link paths. So I knew that we could still run Unite and we could run shards at the same time, and still it would complement each other. So yeah, that was the freak out.
Who are the Bluebirds?
Who are the Bluebirds?
Yeah.
The Bluebirds are our level 8 girls club here in Jacksonville, Florida. We also have a few Bluebirds internationally too, just women in Ingress that have done amazing things throughout the game.
Great.
Yep. So I'm very proud of my Bluebirds.
So
We are
Ruth,
proud of them.
Yes.
yeah, I saw that cool T-shirt that you guys have. That's a really neat design.
Cool. Thank you.
So yeah, one more question for you. It's one that we like to ask our guests here at on Behind the Scanner. So given the social nature of Ingress, has the game taught you something about yourself that you didn't know?
Yeah. I mean, some of the parallels through Ingress and through, success in the real world are very apparent. I mean, they're very blatant. Um, I've really learned how to be more self-confident and how to take charge and how to make a decision, how to be, I don't know, how to press forward and how not to give up. I believe, it was a very important lesson for me to learn at this point in my life, how to really never give up, how that will cause you to succeed, just the networking and how to move people around, orchestration, that sort of thing. So I think it's definitely changed me for the better.
Cool.
So
Well, Ruth, this is awesome. It is good to have you here. It was great your interview, and well, we want to thank you for being here to take the time to be on the show. And now we want to make a little panel discussion for some minutes after closing the show. So, are you okay with this?
definitely.
Great. So, well, Kelly, can you introduce us to the question, please, to the panel discussion?
Sure. Ozzy has a question. What are your opinions on what lays ahead for Ingress from a community standpoint?
Well,
So,
Ruth?
yeah,
You
Vitaly,
want to go
can
first?
you start answer
Yeah.
this?
Ah, from a community standpoint, I think it's more an American view. So Ruth can answer this question a bit better. What I'm playing is not a community; it's organization. It's network. It's covered. It's well, you said KGB like that. It's not a community.
I disagree. I believe that Ingress is all about community, and I believe that the areas and regions that have a stronger community, that's where they're really going to succeed, and we're really going to see amazing things from. Ingress, in general, is a very cooperative game, but I've learned that groups and teams that stay together, they play together outside the game as well. They go out and have dinner together. They go to movies. They enjoy the social aspect, and from there, Ingress naturally follows, and amazing things come from it. So I think that as far as the evolution of community within the game, um, those communities, those strong points will really succeed, and we'll really see amazing things from. And I'm looking forward to seeing some new regions that are getting stronger and see what comes out of them.
Andrew?
Wow, that's an awesome answer, Ruth. I don't think I can add much to it other than I think, you know, we might see communities, both blue and green, getting together more, and I think you might see people learning how to, learning more about themselves, learning how to think positively and think, understand, just like behind the scanner, we're here because we're actually people, right? It's not just Agent Red Solo Co. I'm actually a person. And so socially, I think the social aspect is going to get bigger. You're going to see people's characteristics and behaviors become, hopefully, more positive.
I hope so.
I think that the communities in Ingress overpassed the game already for a long time already. People is making real friends in this game or in these communities. They take care of them as what Ruth just told us about, that being aware of the players and feeling that you have to, they are part of your family in certain ways, so you have to care about them. It's really great, and there's people that don't know each other, but just because you are part of Ingress, they are supportive, and they are um, taking care of the players. It doesn't matter if you are blue or green. I know a lot of stories of people helping other factions without, in any circumstances, without any regret or being avoiding to help because of their faction. What do you think, Kelly?
Well, just, a lot of what you guys are saying are, ideas that really resonate with, what I've seen and what I think is going to keep happening. And one of the things I'm already seeing with, like, my local community is that, we've found other interests, going out last night, watching the Blackhawks games together, after playing. I arranged a March Madness bracket pool, a bunch of players are all getting together and playing. We'll be giving back to the community. Like, I can really see, more communities getting together and, fundraising for a good cause, things like that. And there was actually something I read just recently. The Enlightened in Hawaii are participating in a walk to benefit AIDS research. So I think we're going to probably see a lot more of that coming up, that sense of philanthropic, activities as a group.
That would be amazing.
Well, when the operation is over, we are all friends.
Very, very true.
So I have one more question for the panel that comes from the Q&A. And this is from Jennifer, and it's, what is the hardest thing you have had to do for an anomaly?
Ruth?
Oh. I answered the last one first.
Okay. Then, Andrew.
The hardest thing that I've had to do for an anomaly. Well, I think the hardest thing was when we had Cassandra here in Washington, D.C. We didn't have many lessons learned. There wasn't that many anomaly events yet, so we pretty much had to write the playbook. So we took some military tactics, because I may or may not work for the Army, and some project management tactics, and sort of came up with a playbook that, trying to figure out how to sort of manage all these groups of people and figuring out the points and the strategy and all that. There's no real path that was set for us or example, so that was really tough. I mean, going out there and doing it, that was sort of a piece of cake, and we knew going into it that we were going to be overmatched in terms of people. The resistance around here, they have more. And we kept it close. I think going into the fourth measurement, we were only down by 4 points. And so, the strategy worked, but it was a lot of long nights and a lot of going back and forth between, well, what if we do this? What if we do this? Well, can we get people to field? Where are they going to be? What are the portals? You know, is it going to matter? I mean, it was learning the anomaly game, you know, when it first came out was definitely the most difficult thing.
Vitaly?
Well, let me ask, which anomaly?
Yeah, true. Good point.
It depends. First anomaly is first anomaly, and well, we have had some tactics, we have had some approaches. No comments on them. Developing them was hard, but not that hard that then implementing them to the people in other countries. The hardest thing was communication. To explain why we do it that way. Why we can't just go out and fire our bursts stupid. People just wanted to come out, have beer and play, and we told them you should do this and that and go to point 3. Convincing people was difficult. Yes, I think like that.
Kelly?
Well, I would say there were at least two anomalies that I played in which I was sick. So that made it really difficult to, you're doing a lot of walking and, when you're chugging down cold medicine, that's not really pleasant. Yeah. So, but I don't know, I guess that was difficult personally, but in terms of, a team effort, I feel like at Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, that was a really hard anomaly in the fact that it was, pretty early on. It was in March, I think, of 2013, and when Andrew talks about like not really having the idea of how to even play an anomaly, we just had no idea. Things were kind of thrown together over a week of planning. Every night, a group of people all met to talk about how we were going to handle this, and showing up and being completely outnumbered and knowing we had 2 clusters of portals to handle was pretty hard. Trying to get everyone's spirits up and going. That was difficult, but it was so rewarding, and everyone walked away from that with a really good and the Enlightened prevailed. So that made the win even more sweet.
Very cool. So I have to stay off
Well,
Hangouts. They're cracking me up. I guess the hardest thing for should I go?
yeah.
Probably the hardest thing for me with an anomaly was to be at Cupid's span when the last shards came in, and knowing that I was going down there alone and there was no one down there. That was pretty hard. Thankfully, we had Linda ended up coming down and Joe came down at the last minute, but I guess in the past that was kind of hard, seeing 15 Enlightened there with their scanners and a fully loaded level 8 portal, knowing that you can't do anything, but you might as well just keep hitting fire. That was pretty well coordinated.
Actually, can I?
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear.
Sorry. Can I amend my answer? Because Ruth just jogged my memory of something.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the hardest thing at any anomaly was imagine flying across country, getting up at like 4 in the morning, spending all day blasting things, and you're running around, a new city, completely exhausted. You stay up all night because you're with these cool people that you just met. Then you go out and you have an anomaly. You're on like the 28th hour of lack of sleep. You go through the anomaly. You go to the after party. You start to, have a cocktail or two, and then somebody comes up to you and asks, "Hey, what do you think about my game, and how would you improve it?" Imagine the person's John Hankey. I think my response to him at that point was like, that was difficult. That was rough. So I apologize.
What stays at the anomaly after party? What happens at the anomaly after party stays there, right, Andrew?
Oh Lord, I hope so.
Yeah, anomaly after parties can be hard.
I went to 4 after parties in LA.
Yeah.
Recursion was crazy.
I had a pre-party actually where I aided one of Kelly's portals. That was pretty fun.
Nice.
Yeah, I got that notification and went, that red solo cup, I don't like that guy.
Actually, that was the same anomaly. That was San Francisco where we had been playing, and Ted and Peter and I were out playing all day, and we get back, and all of a sudden I get this message from this person who I really hadn't communicated with before. Her name was Ruth Shepherd, and she said, "Hey, I'm bored. Are you guys doing anything tonight?" I said, "Oh, I just got in." And she was like, "Oh, that's too bad. Well, I think I'm going to stay in too." And then probably 30 minutes later, my scanner starts blowing up with Rio 5's attacking the portal. Rio 5's attacking the portal. A message. Oh, you're staying inside, huh?
There was nothing else to do. There were level 8s all over San Fran. Something had to be done.
What about you, Jorge? Sorry, I apologize. What's the most difficult?
No, it's okay. I envy you so much because I just had been in one anomaly, but it was our anomaly in Mexico City, so it was great. It's great to have it. It was a satellite anomaly, and the hardest thing, I will go for similar to Vitaly, to make the other guys, the other players, the general players, understand what is an anomaly, how it is played, and why you have to follow some guys in order to know what is going to happen, because they are holding some information that the general players not going to know maybe 1 or 2 hours before the anomaly, and that's it. And trying to organize all that people that is always asking what is going to happen, what are we going to do, why is this guy leading us, and things like that. So trying to make them all getting all the communications, doing all the um, the um, the correct apps, the correct making all them being turning off their other apps, the synchronizations and everything. So because we were going to play in a very difficult signal place, the clusters were in the middle of the city, in the old downtown of the city, so the signal is very tricky. So we have to improve as much as we can the function of the functionality of our cell phone. So doing all that was really hard. We were a group of, I don't remember exactly, but 12 to 15 people trying to organize everything, and being a satellite and not having the Niantic guidance, it was like a little bit harder too. So, but we kick some green bats, little bats, so it was really fun. But thank you guys for being here tonight with us. You are awesome guests. Thank you to my 2 co-hosts, Andrew, the regular one, Kelly, awesome co-host. Well, hopefully we are going to have you more often here. And well, um, thank you very much. You've been wonderful. Thank you, Vitaly, for waking up so early to be with us. But I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Oh,
Thank you,
it
Ruth.
was
Thank you
short.
very much.
I think I can talk more.
There'll be a part 2. There'll be an after party. We're having after this behind.
Well, technically I have after party.
We're gonna have
but
an
it's-
after party.
Yeah, yeah. My quite after. On Tuesday nights, I host the Ingress Happy Hour, and that's at 9 Eastern time. And you can actually find information about it on the Meridian Project page or at my personal page. I'm going to put a link to that on the YouTube description.
And if I can interject real quick, we may have a last-minute replacement for our resistance guest, so I don't want to announce who that is yet. But Jorge Stefan is going to be our Enlightened guest next week, for those of you that are going to tune in. And also don't forget that we have the form to submit your guest recommendations. That is bit.ly/BTS, or behind the scanner, _guest. bit.ly/BTS_guest. Anything else, Jorge?
Thank you very much, guys. No, I think it was so cool. I hope the audience enjoy it. Thank you very much for the support, and well, goodbye, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Goodbye.
So